Okay, what we're going to tie today is a Bent Back Clouser variant. When we say variant, we're not going to use dumbbell eyes or bead chain eyes, and we're going to create a weighted keel, and then we'll use that bent back technique that we learned the other day. For the material that we'll be using, we'll be using a Gamatsu size 2-watt hook. We'll have lead wire to weight the keel. Have some olive tying thread, tool wise, scissors, the whip finish tool, and the bobbin. And then we'll need some vice grips or pliers to bend back the hook. And then for some glues, we got some crazy glue, and then the Sally Hansen hard as nails coat. For other material, we've got flashable pearl. It gives flash to the fly, and then we've got the chenille that we picked up at Cabelas the other day. It was on sale, so we bought it, and so far we've liked what we have. It's some kind of olive, flashy looking thing. So very sparkly. And then we'll be using craft fur, a chartreuse, and then an olive. And that's pretty much what we'll be using today. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to bend back the hook. What we're going to do is about an eye length back is what we'll bend. So, and we'll be using the vice grip. Okay, here we are with the vice grip. We've got about an eye width back from the on the hook shank, and what we'll do is we'll bend it back so we have a slight bend in the okay. And what we're doing is we're just kind of grasping it here on the hook shank and then pushing back on it, like so. Just be careful with the hook point, and we can see we've got the line here about mid hook bend, and that's pretty much all we need for the Bent Back Clouser. Alright, and then to give you an idea how much we bent it back, here's one that was bent back, and here's one that has not been altered at all. And if I line it up to the eye and the hook shank, you can see how much this is now riding. Alright, there's another view of it here. Let's see if we can get a better view here for you. Right there. Or like that. Alright, so the top one is the unaltered one, and the bottom one is the one where you have the bent back. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so we'll start things off by laying a thread base. Alright, so we've got the thread base. Next thing we'll do is we'll lay the keel using some of that lead wire. Keel, we're using about a hook shank plus about maybe 2 lengths of the hook shank. And what we'll do is we'll start off by laying it on top of the shaft, and we'll take it to the bend here. Alright, and then right at that bend, we'll bend this tag piece back over, and we'll now secure that in place, making sure that it's still on the bottom, or on the top of that hook shank, which eventually will be the bottom. Okay, so we have that secured. What we'll do next is apply some super glue. Just a quick deal of super glue on the thread wrap and the lead wire, and we'll secure that in place with a few more wraps. And what we'll do is we'll stop just here at the end and we'll let it dry. Okay, now that it's dry, we'll take that chenille, that flashy stuff, and we'll get that one started at the back of the hook, right where we left off the thread. We'll get that secured in place, and we'll take this to the front here, and we'll secure it with a half hitch. And then we'll use the rotary tool to wrap the chenille. In this case, if you don't have a rotary function, you can always just wrap it on there. And all we're going to do is just cover up that lead and part of that rear of the shank. Okay, and we'll take it up to the bend of the hook where we started that bent back. So we're working from the rear to the front, and we'll stop just short of the where we bent the hook, and then we'll secure it in place with a couple of thread wraps. Snip it, and then we'll secure it again just with a few more wraps. There we go, just to make sure we got it. Alright, and that is the weighted keel of the Bent Back Clouser variant that we're making. Alright, next we're going to just flip it over and undo it from the vise and flip it over, and we'll secure it here where it kind of bends in. There we go. And what we're doing is we're just kind of making that profile that we're going to have for the fly here. So you can see how it's straight here and then kind of comes in, and that's what we want, and that's that weighted keel. Alright, so the next up is we'll tie in the chartreuse craft fur that will make the body, and we're going to tie this sparse. And what we've done is taken some of that craft fur, and it's basically about a length of the hook plus about another 1/4 inch or so. And what we'll do is we'll secure that with a loose wrap to the bent part of the hook. Just put a couple of loose wraps on there, get it secured in place. Trim up some of the excess hair here. And when we do this, we keep the bobbin thread below the area that we're cutting, and that keeps us from accidentally cutting our tying thread. So as long as we have it hanging down, and as long as we keep cutting above, we're not going to cut our tying thread. Alright, that's good enough for now. Okay, so the next thing we'll tie in is the little flashaboo to give that little sparkle to it. And the flashaboo comes in when you buy them. It has a long length. What we do is just double it over, and we'll snip it, and we'll have 2 lengths, and we're going to use one doubled over on one side, and then we'll use the other one doubled over on the other side. So we'll start off with one piece here, and we'll get that one pretty much evened up. Onto the hook, and we'll secure it in place here. And there we go. So that's one side. We'll just flip it over and do the same with the other piece, and we'll just make sure that we have the flashaboo tending to the same direction as we had the other one. So what we want to do is just make sure that they're in that same direction. So what we like kind of doing is we'll grab the pieces and make sure we have them situated where we want them, and then we'll secure it with some more wraps. And what should happen is it should tend to the side of the craft fur. Right, and so when it swims through the water, that little flashaboo will kind of hug the sides of the body, give it that extra flash. All right, so that's the underbody. Then we're gonna put the I don't know what you call it, the overbody or top, which will be that chartreuse, or correction, the olive craft fur. Okay, so we have another deal of craft fur. This is the olive, and this one's going to be just a hair longer, or about another, I'd say double the size of the hook that we're using. So it's going to go over that chartreuse craft fur, and we'll get that one secured with some loose wraps at first. And again, we're tying it sparse. What we noticed is it seems to work very well when you use less hair, or craft fur in this case. It can be made with deer hair. I believe that's what it was originally intended to do. We've just been using the craft fur mainly because it's the stuff we have on hand, and it seems to be working fairly well for us here. We used this same setup when we were making some Clouser minnows for Denison Dam, and they seem to like that color configuration. So it's almost like you got the light underbody with chartreuse, and then you got the olive overbody to give that darkness to the top. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much all you need for the overbody, and at this point we'll just build up the head, and you can add eyes, and then you can also just leave it as is. And in this case, or in our case, we left it as is and didn't add any eyes, and they seem to like it just as well. So you know, we'll go with what works, and we'll clean up the that extra craft fur or hair on the eye. What we'll do is we'll take a lighter and clean that up a little. All right, so that's pretty much it right there. Alrighty, so we cleaned it up by getting those loose hairs here at the front, and all that's left now is to apply some of that. You can use whatever you like for your head cement. We just use those hard as nails nail polish. Just to work pretty well for us here. Alright, and that's it. And we'll get this video as well as the video of what we caught today posted, and y'all can take a look at how this one worked. But fairly simple tie. It rides just under the surface, sinking. You can let it sink. You can also retrieve it at a steady rate, and we were getting them on top as well as about a foot or two under the surface. Additionally, we did like how it stayed fairly weedless, and that keel, that weighted keel, definitely kept that hook riding up. We did have several occasions where we did lose the bass, just able to throw the hook on us, but don't feel that it was the hook's fault. It's probably user error from yours truly. Alright, so give this one a shot. This is the Bent Back Clouser variant with a weighted keel. Alright, till next time, we'll catch y'all later, and good luck and good fishing.